ladies with the info, inherent the inflow, off topic or on, from dusk until dawn. Brains over brawn, look up to the Sean. Wait for my spawn, you rushing like Vaughn. Remember so gone, destiny was drawn. We sat on your porch, you know. Red on the green, seeing Portugal. Had cornrows with corn and rolls. Mama asking as if we know, like if we know, kicking back taekwondo. Couldn't really play on PS4. Any man Danny ran Ghost Alive. Took 3 years to put in drive. It took 3 years to take it outside. Hate when babies were quiet, hate when ladies would lie. Hate when Navy took Uncle Malik from my eyes. Sigh, sigh, oh me, oh my. Super Smash Bros, button matching pro. Evan and Ethan, Michael Jackson glow. Carmike, Malco, stuck my snacks in dough. Witness in the tavern, someone putting axe in mode. Didn't ask for much, still in revealing, not really bad with luck. Focus feeling the healing, sitting around chilling with krillin', living, dealing with squilling, work for the food that we reelin'. Sonic slow down, 10 toes down, 10 foes, 5 blows, it's a showdown. Whoa now, Undertaker, it's a ghost town, hose down, surrender or get mowed down. Be on the test, still blessed, there's B's in the best. Oh yes, there's Z in the zest, had to eat and get dressed. Bet it's east to the west, like it's next to your chest. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, G, E, C, E, Z, C. Pray for the B, M, G, W, C, D. You are my one and only man. I know you have a plan. You said that I can. I'm here. It's been another year. I'm a young little kid, and I can see so clear. You are my one and only man. I know you have a plan. You said that I can. I'm here. It's been another year. I'm a young little kid, and I can see so clear. It's kinda crazy that I could've skipped the first grade. Just got my finger in the door, need a first aid. Lemonade, Powerade, and even Gatorades. All A's, no pay, man, it's been a long day. Okay, man, okay, I'm drinking OJ, watching Go Say and PR with the role play. Oh wait, my cartoons and favorites so fake. Dang, no way, I found out the real slow way. I was a mountain lion, started from the bottom and I'm mountain climbing. Minding all my business, I was business minded. Almost every day, view how blue the sky is. Almost every Sunday went to New Mount Zion. Almost every month they would spew the lion. And almost every year I knew you was spying. Because of me and the you surviving. My past is the past, but I live in the present. To think on the future, you live every second. Can't dwell on before if there's nothing to dwell on. Ringing in your ears, cause this is a bell song. My mom and my dad love my comrades. My sister, my nephew, grandma, and grandpa. You can say love is great, or say that it's bliss, but I won't forget him. Thomas Nicholas.
Good morning, Infinity. Good morning. Good to have you all with us in the space today. Happy Father's Day. That energy, you got that great flow that came from Brother Christian Ezel, also known as Dub C. He's going to be back a little bit later. Y'all don't know anything about that flow right there. Y'all have to listen to it. Y'all can replay it and catch some of the metaphors, catch some of the depth in there, that power. We're so excited to have him. Dub C is a 19-year-old MLK graduate who is now up the street in Murfreesboro at MTSU studying music production and putting it to work. So glad to have you with us today, brother. So glad to have the talent flowing in the space today. We invite you into the space of meditation for a few moments to sit still as we prepare for today's If Speak service. So great to have you in the space today. We invite you just to take a deep breath with me. Exhale to release. Sit a little taller in your seat. Begin to inhale and exhale through your nose. As you begin to embrace the gift of the breath, the breath is the connection to living. It is the metaphorical connection to the God energy in all of us. It is one of the translations of the word ashe, breath and life, spirit. We don't see it, but we know it's there. And as we breathe in, pausing gently at the top, and exhale, breathing out, releasing in the exhale the things that no longer serve us. The doubts that we came up in the place with today, the fears that we came in the place with today, the regrets, all of them are released in the exhale. With each inhale, absorbing the energy of the universe around us that is provided lovingly by the God of your acceptance and understanding. In the exhale, releasing all of the carbon dioxide that is negative to us, but good for the universe. Inhaling and exhaling in gratitude. Turning intention to the breath. Giving thanks for being present today. As we sit in this field of gratitude, as we continue to breathe in and out slowly, we recognize the circle and the cycle of creation today. We give thanks for being in this space today of gratitude and love. We give thanks for the gift of being able to adjust our attitude at any moment. To see a storm and decide to walk into it, knowing that what awaits us on the other side is transformation and strength. We embrace this field of vibratory prayer as we continue to breathe like this. And as we have now embraced this field of gratitude, we ask that all eyes be closed, all heads be bowed, all hearts now open. Tune into that energy that comes to mind when I say God. Do you have a name assigned to it? Do you have a space or a culture assigned to it? What's most important is not that you see it as I see it. What's most important is that you see it in your divine space. Tune into that energy now together. All wise, all knowing, all living, all loving God, divine source, universe, you are the loving spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation. And although you are perceived by many different names, we know you by one powerful energy. We speak to that energy today in thanksgiving and gratitude. We thank you for those who have assembled here in this physical space. We give thanks to those who have assembled online from all over the world. We give thanks for those who will watch this on a replay later on and receive spiritual food, upliftment, and energy from it. We give thanks for the spirit energy today of the fathers, as this is Father's Day. We give thanks for those who hung in there for those who dedicated their time and energy to the family, for those who looked after kids who were not their own, but who stood in the gap to make sure that the next generation would be strong. We give thanks right now for that divine masculine energy that is celebrated as Father's Day where we are. We speak that that covering will connect with the divine feminine energy to make sure that we have balance in this world, and we give thanks for that energy. We give thanks for today's service. We give thanks to our performance today. We give thanks for young brother Dub C, and thank you for his gift, that you are working through him. We will speak that he will manifest his gift on a scale bigger than even he could imagine. We give thanks for Sister Carmen in the space today. We give thanks for Sister Anita in the space today. We give thanks for Brother Joshua Smith Carr in the space today, Brother Tony Insignaris in the space today. All of the team that's working to make this energy be seen, because we're feeling this energy and we're knowing this energy and we're grateful for it. We speak that something is said in this conversation today with young Jumoke carr, who is in the space, that will remind someone that they are ever loved by you, ever covered by you, and that there is never a time when you are absent. You are always present. And as you are present, and as two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time, there can never be an absence. So for those who have been feeling absence from you, we speak that they will recognize this connection right now and see every obstacle as an opportunity, moving through in divine love. For these things and for other things we cannot put into words, we simply say, we thank you. Deep breath in, exhale to release, and so it is. Amen, Amen, Hotep, Shalom, Namaste, Ashe. We greet you today for our pouring of libations in the names of the known and unknown ancestors upon whose shoulders we humbly stand, recognizing that we are made in the image and likeness of God. What a great gift. What an awesome gift. We also stand on the shoulders of many who have come before us. So for those who have gone before, you all know how we do it. We ask that you invite your people into the space today by typing their names aloud in the chat box. We're typing the names of those who came into our consciousness by virtue of their blood, to those who came into our lives to walk us through the mud. We recognize the ancestors by calling your names aloud and by typing your names in the space. As we pour with the water that represents the living into the earth that represents what happens to this physical body when we transition to life after life, we recognize that we are completing a divine circuit and that there is no death. And just as energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only change form, such it is with spirit. We invite you to type the names in the box and in the space to meditate on those who have gone before as we prepare for our libations. As we pour the water, we say, cool water, freshen our spirits. Freshen and consecrate this house. Freshen our collective ancestors with all praises to Almighty God, divine source in creation. Grant to us peace and prosperity. We pour today to the divine energies of the north, Ashe. To the divine energies of the south, Ashe. To the divine energies of the east, Ashe. To the divine energies of the west, Ashe. To the energy of the grounded force of the earth below us, Ashe. To the powerful inspiration that comes from above, Ashe. And to the space of the heart center where it all gathers together, where we live and walk in divine purpose and commit to shine brightly as a reflection of those who have gone before and of our God. Ashe. As you speak the names of those who have come before, either in the box or aloud, we'll pour the last few pours of water with you. And to the children in the womb, world, and yet unborn, Ashe, Ashe, Asheo, and so it is. Good morning, Infinity.
Good morning.
We love it. We're in the house today. We got the great vibe set. We have opened the spiritual portal, the musical portal, and it's time now to say good morning to you. Where y'all calling in from? Where y'all dialing in from? Say hello to us in the chat box. We got you live. We got you streaming on both YouTube and Facebook. I'm Reverend Jeff Obafemi Carr, and I want to welcome you to the core of consciousness and the apex of authenticity on Father's Day, the Infinity Fellowship. Great to have you with us. Say hello. We're going to give an assignment as we sing, right? We're going to sing good morning to you, and our assignment's going to be simple. Say good morning, tell us where you're broadcasting in from, and give us one thing that you're grateful for. Just one thing that you're grateful for. It could be as simple as I'm watching the screen with two good eyes, because some people ain't watching the screen with two good eyes, right? So that's something to be grateful for. So we invite you as we sing good morning to you. Let us know where you're coming in from. I already see some folks because I'm already checking out the ancestors. I'm already seeing the energy and feeling the energy come through the screen. We got Sister Destiny Muhammad coming in from Oakland, California. I see Oakland in the house. Oaktown. 357. Y'all don't know about that. They don't know about Oaktown 357. That's old. That's first generation.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
All right, voices. Sister Latia Stewart, David and the Stewart family. Good to see y'all today. We saw y'all yesterday at the corner of Nolensville Road and Thompson Lane in the car, driving in the truck. What a blessing to be able to wave at you. Grateful tuning in from Nashville, Tennessee. We got Sister Cindy Terry tuning in. Happy Father's Day tuning in from Maryland. Oh, we got Sister Winnie is back in the house. Good to see you. Sister Winnie Nobles is tuning in and saying good evening from beautiful Kigali, Rwanda. All across the globe. We got folks tuning in today. We are all in the house globally today. Sister Sita is in the house. Good morning. Working in Wide Awake, Wilson, North Carolina. Grateful for all of my friends. Oh, what a great day. What a great time. We're in the space. Sister Star is in the house. Grateful to be alive with my babies. What an awesome moment. Sister Felina, happy Father's Day from Milwaukee. Grateful for family, grateful for community. We'll go back through some of these because we know this is a moment of gratitude. So let's put up some. Let's see some. We got Sister Trezana. We've got Sister Trezana coming in. Cincinnati, Ohio is in the house in a grateful breath. We've got Sister Michelle Mayberry coming in, putting you up on the screen. Good morning from Dallas, Texas. Grateful for great health and peace of mind. Love to Infinity Fellowship. Great to have you. We've got unapologetically grateful, Sister Destiny Muhammad. Let's scroll up a little bit there. We've got Sister, there she goes, the Sister Lakeisha. I'm like, I see everybody's online names. I'm like, wait a minute, who is Sunny Moments? That's Sister Lakeisha. Good to have you, sister, from Madison, Tennessee. Grateful for family, friends, and the community. We got Denise from Nashville coming in. I think we got, did we get Felina in there? I want to make sure I always get Felina in the house. There we go. Awesome. Sister Felina is always coming in from Milwaukee. Grateful for a new friend and connection I recently made. Looks like we might have a standing ovation coming in a little bit later. I like that. That's just cryptic enough to make everybody say what's happening. A.K. Warren coming in from Macon, Georgia. Come on through, Macon, Georgia. Happy Father's Day, particularly to my familial ancestors, Earl Marshall and Al Owens. Awesome. And to see all the fathers that were coming through during the libations, all the names and the mothers and the grandmothers and the aunties that were coming through. That's why the energy is so good today. That's why that energy is in that space today. We are loving it. Happy Father's Day coming in from Sister Stephanie Cathy in New Jersey. And we've got, scroll up a little bit, Joshua. I think might have a couple of people I want to catch up there that I don't want to miss. I got Felina in the house. I got Sita. Let's put Sita's up. I got to send Sita a shout out because that's our folks in North Carolina. Good morning. Working in Wide Awake, Wilson, North Carolina. Grateful for all my fathers. I got you. Great. So Latia's in the house from Nashville. The Stewart family's tuning in. What a wonderful day. What a wonderful space. Scroll back up a little bit to Winnie. I think I see something with Winnie. Good, right there. Show that. This is a good moment. I want this back for Standing Ovation energy later, too. Sister Winnie Nobles, my daughter is out of the hospital and resting in Dallas, Texas. So from Rwanda to Dallas, Texas, family is still family. And from Nashville, Tennessee, we're sending love and showering that energy onto everyone. So good morning, everybody.
And it's Carmen's birthday.
That's what I was about to say. Let's go up to that camera up there, Joshua. Show Carmen. She's got it all worked out. Look at Carmen up there. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Sister Carmen Ridley is in the house, and so we've got it going on today, y'all. Grateful to have you in the space today. Grateful to have each and every one of you here for the Infinity Fellowship. Tag a friend, ask them to subscribe, like the page, tag people and say, hey, listen, you better tune in. We got real energy coming in for Father's Day. And let's begin by going to our statement of infinitude for our sister Kenitha Carr is coming up for us. Ashe.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Infinity, and everybody who's streaming online. Welcome to the Infinity Experience live online. And you know, y'all, every week I like to give you a couple of reminders about Infinity. One, we don't tell you how to call or define the God of your own personal acceptance and understanding. That is an intensely unique, personal, beautiful relationship. Here at Infinity, we simply affirm your unique connection. Number two, whatever you call the source energy, you may hear us say God interchangeably with the universe, divine source. What you see around you is the proof, baby, that it was showing off when you were created after the same image and likeness. And so now it's time to speak aloud the core agreements that bring us here together at Infinity. We call that infinitude. Infinitude is defined in the dictionary as a state or quality of being infinite, or having no limit. We have a unique mix of faith backgrounds at Infinity, but what centers us is the spirituality we all share in common. For us, infinitude is defined as infinity with an attitude, and that attitude is gratitude. And that snap you just heard is the spiritual practice that gives us life and meaning. Snap is on your screen, and we recommend you take some time to meditate on both it and the statement of infinitude by visiting our website at myif.com. adulthood.org. The S in SNAP is for spirituality that transcends religion and connects you to the God of your own understanding. The N is for nurturing of ourselves and others, mind, body, and spirit. The A is for action, because we take action on our callings and walk in our divine purpose every day. And finally, the P is for the proof that our spiritual practices manifest fruit in our lives through the building and maintaining of healthy and prosperous families, relationships, careers, and dreams. We are grateful you all are here as unique manifestations of our Creator, the loving, living spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation, perceived by many names, yet known by only one energy. I invite you to join us in the affirmation of our statement of infinitude. We agree that we are beings of pure, eternal spirit, birthed from the creative potential of the universe, with all the powers of the Creator inherent within us. We embrace the innate goodness of humankind and an abundant creation that provides for us through the seeds that we plant in our everyday lives. We acknowledge that who we are is housed in a temporary biological organism, and as such, it is our responsibility to take care of it, because it will only last for a precious window of time. As we nurture ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, we commit to provide like acts of nurturing for our fellow brothers and sisters of the world we live in, embracing all regardless of religious faith, skin color, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or socio and economic background. All are truly welcome at infinity. We agree and accept that various religions exist as a unique opportunity for humanity to get to know one another through meaningful conversations that seek to explore the core concepts we share in common. It is the application of ancient wisdom, scientific discovery, and spiritual practices, both physical and metaphysical, that will lead us closer together as a human family. We commit to exist now and ever as a beloved community. Let it be so according to the many ancient terms of affirmation. Amen, Amin, Shalom, Namaste, Ashe.
And so it is. We want to welcome our visitors at this time. If you are a first-time visitor, please type first time in the box. This is Father's Day, so we want to celebrate you, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is your first time at Infinity, first time in the energy of Infinity. We like to give you a very special welcome. So type your name in the comment section, and people are going to absolutely overpower you with muscle arms and likes and hearts and every other kind of emoticon that you can get that gives you positivity. I'd like to say good morning again to our visitors, Infinity and friends. My name is Jeff Obafemi Carr. In this space, I go by Rev Jeff, and I'm excited to be able to welcome you into the space we call the core of consciousness and the apex of authenticity. It's at this time that we say hello to our first-time visitors at Infinity Fellowship, the space where people make the quantum leap from simple religious doctrine that everybody just taught us and expected us to swallow without studying, to expansive and profound spirituality. True growth, you walking in your divine purpose. This may be your first time experiencing Infinity, but we want you to let you know that we do see the real you. We see you not just as a human being who showed up to have a spiritual experience, but it's really the other way around. You're a spirit who's navigating the human experience like us. And so in this space, we want you to take a deep breath in, exhale to release. If you're near somebody, hold your hands up to them. Shoot your hands in that direction. Carmen's gonna take care of Dub C. And we're gonna say our visitors welcome. So we stretch our hands to you in this space. And all you have to do, if it's your first time, you can receive it, or you can say it aloud if you want to. In the space here, the few people who are here are going to say it aloud with me as well. So we stretch our hands to you at home. And even if you're a regular, this is how we say it every single time. Deep breath in. Exhale to release. We want you to feel the love energy coming in here. There's no rote, regular way of doing this. Each time, it's a special time of connection. You were born with a purpose, and we want you to know that we see you. So repeat after me. I see you, but you don't hear me now. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You're more than what's on the outside. You're a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me, where I can let you know that you are not alone. I am with you, and you are at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You are so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You are here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know all this because I'm here to do the same thing. So we're going to help each other out. All right? I know the real you. And I see you shining today. I feel you shining today. So welcome to infinity. Welcome home. Ashe-o. You can give a high five. So we're here. We in person. We give a high five. We get some dap. Y'all can give everybody at the house some dap. Point them up. Tell them they're special. They're awesome. Tell them they're here on purpose. That's what we're here for. It's Father's Day. So in commemoration of Father's Day, it hit me that I need to break down a little bit. I used to put the cardboard boxes down and do the break dancing. Luckily for here, we got the wood floor, so we don't need it. And I thought about that windmill with that spin out. And I said, yeah, I'm going to keep that right there in my mind. Give thanks. Give thanks. Because then I thought about the rest of the day and the rest of the week. And it's been a long time since Rev hit that floor. Yeah, I could. Yeah, don't give me now. See, we didn't catch that. I was like, first time y'all aren't ready. It's time for Giving at Infinity Fellowship. If you know the slide, Albert Einstein said, it is every man or woman's obligation to put back into the world at least the equivalent of what he or she takes out of it. Let us carry that energy into our sacred moment of action, where we affirm the powerful frequency of giving in this place. We give thanks in this space today because giving is a sacred part of any ritual that builds community and expands institutions. Giving allows us to exist as a fellowship because we pour into who we are. We pour into our community. We pour into this space. And so this is a wonderful opportunity. This is a wonderful moment for you to be a part of this giving. This is how we look up. This is how we look at each other. This is how we see this stream that has been taking place continually through the entire pandemic. We have not missed a service, y'all. And that is not, some people say, man, I ain't missed a service. I've been here every Sunday. I need a vacation. No, we give gratitude because we have been able to be here as a fellowship and to get better and better, to be able to bring in people who are walking in their purpose and their gifts, to be able to share that energy with you globally. And that's because we give. When an obstacle like the blockage of money is bothering you in your life, when you see money as something that is bad or evil, or you see it as something that is oppressing you, it is no wonder that it is shying away from you. It is no wonder that you're in the state that you're in. It is no wonder that relationships are not working out. It's because your vibrational frequency is not attracting the things that you want in life. Your vibe attracts your tribe. The way you give reflects how you receive. If you're a person who's always looking to receive, and you never give, it acts out in other ways of your life. I'm a true practitioner of this giving space, and I recognize how important it is for us to release that cycle of abundance, prosperity and good health, healed relationships. Sounds good, right? Living and walking in your divine purpose, and of course having the money and the funds that you need to go anywhere you want to go, do anything you want to do. That's a holistic definition, and that's how we give. It is the spirit of giving that we give in Infinity, and it is what we live by. We're so excited that we feel that everything is good. So we sing everything is good while we're giving. So as we prepare to give corporately, which is all together at the same time, you can give via Cash App, you can give via PayPal, you can give via snail mail. Stick it in the mail. We have a secured mailbox here on West Nocturne Drive. But however you choose to give, I invite you to release the fear of lack, to release the fear, that energy of fear and dependency, and to instead embrace the energy of abundance and give according to what your heart is moved to give. Thank you to those who have adopted one of the foundational principles of spiritual giving, which is 10% of what you receive in any given week or at any given time. You pour back into the space where, and this is what I love about Edwin Gaines, where you receive your spiritual food. So I'm speaking that for somebody out there, you're receiving great spiritual food in this space. I know I am. So whatever anything comes in, I'm taking that 10% and a little bit more off the top. So I want you to steady your mind today. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale, exhale. Take another deep inhale in. Exhale to release. Go ahead and close your eyes for a second. Find that space of good. Find that space of transformation. Find that space of solidarity and growth. We as an institution, as a community, know that giving is a part of a spiritual ritual. And we know that any obstacle we face in this world is destroyed, simply because it doesn't matter how big the obstacle is, because the African proverb teaches us that when spider webs unite, they can subdue the lion. And so we are in this space today of good. We are exercising conscious participation in abundance and freedom. We are giving today because we don't need the federal government to give us a holiday to tell us that we're free. We are free already, and everybody else can catch up with it. And we enjoy it in this moment too. Deep breath in to feel that good now. Exhale, and let's repeat together our offertory affirmation, which we will put up on the screen. O limitless, abundant creator, source of everything I possess, you have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference, and so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention, knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken, and so it is. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. On the screen, you will see the ways that you can give. You can take a picture, Cash App, $ Infinity Fellowship, snail mail Infinity Fellowship, 641 West Nocturne Drive, Nashville, Tennessee, 37207, or via PayPal, paypal.me/Infinity Fellowship. Sing that with us. Everything is good.
Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. Yes, everything is good. I got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Yeah. Everything is good. Yes, everything is good. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. I've got it. I've
I love it, man. Shout out to Brother Reggie Wooten. I want to remind you all that Brother Reggie is going to be performing, headlining at the July 4th celebration with Reggie Wooten and friends. So for those of you who are making the trek to go down into downtown Nashville on July 4th, not only will you be in our hearts and our prayers and in our coverings, but you make it down there early enough, you will see Brother Reggie there. I think he's going to be playing, that's a Sunday, I believe. And so he will be able to see him at 6 o'clock. So check him out. If he's on a live stream, check him out on the live stream too. You're used to seeing him back here in the corner. One of the members of the legendary Wooten brothers. We love him. And it's great. We're going to miss him on First Sunday, of course, but it's going to be great to be able to see him broadcasting around the world the talent that already earned him the name legend, but to be able to see him rock the crowd, it's going to be crazy. And y'all have never seen Reggie perform live with either his brothers or a band. You ain't seen nothing yet. So it's about to be head-banging rock party going on, and so we speak fun to that. So let's find out what's going on with Infinity. We have Sister Kenitha Carr coming up. Give us our announcements and we'll get it going. You look mighty sharp today. I like those glasses.
I was looking at you. You look nice and better.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Again, good morning, Infinity. As always, guess what? This is a time that if you have something great that you want to share, go ahead and type it in the chat box right now. Go ahead and type it in the chat box right now. We're getting to Standing Ovation a little bit later, but you want to go ahead and put in your Standing Ovation right now. So if something awesome happened to you or someone in your family this week and you want to shout it out and you want us to snap it up and clap for you, go ahead and type it into your chat box right now. All right, welcome to June, the 6th month of 2021, the year of alignment. Our daily mantra is, remember, everything's going my way. And then we sing it. Everything's going my way. Yes, and we speak that you are still being safe at home and embracing this opportunity to explore your spirituality on a deeper level than ever before. Here are a couple of important reminders of things happening here at Infinity. All right, y'all, join us next week for Yoga Sunday. Woo, 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 woo. Last month, Rev Jeff focused on the root chakra. I don't know if I said right there. This month, the focus is the sacral chakra, the energy center that harbors our creation energy. Isn't that good? Get your aura flowing next week on the mat at Yoga Sunday. We do have a few in-person spots available, so if you're interested in coming in, make sure to RSVP in advance. Please text us via Remind. We do have some spots, so just text us at Remind. There we go. Now, it's time for Standing Ovations.
Vibration to a high elevation. It's time for the good news, our standing ovation.
Our high energy at IF comes from our practice of snap. It's why we snap at this part of the service. During this part, we receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys. That's spirituality. We fellowship with like-minded spirits every week. That's nurturing. We take what we learn and we apply it in our lives. That's action. And guess what? If we do these, then every week we see examples of progress in our lives. That's the proof. So let us pause to enjoy a collective moment of expansion and manifestation. We'll call off your names and manifestations as we receive them. And when your name is called, we will snap our fingers to celebrate and affirm them. And then guess what? At the very end, we're going to do a collective standing ovation.
Yes. All right, y'all, type them in. I got a feeling that a lot of good things have happened for you during the week. And this is when we have an opportunity to absolutely celebrate you. And this is how, if you hadn't figured it out, if you're new to Infinity, we are exhilarated to celebrate the good things that happen, not just for ourselves, but for other people, because that, again, creates a particular frequency that attracts celebration for you. So how about that? Let's see what we've got here. Our first standing ovation comes from Brother Chaz Purtle up in the NYC. Standing ovation. Got a 98 on my master's defense.
Woo,
Graduation is next Saturday.
Oh, a 98 on your defense?
98.
Boy.
A 98, man. Go ahead, Chaz.
Yes. Graduation. Yes. We're going to have to shout down the steps.
Dun, 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 dun. We did some shouting music. Bring some
I know,
shouting
we need
music
some
in.
We need that.
Shout-
Dun, dun,
It
dun,
is called whoop triggers. They have it. There are churches that use it during the pandemic. I tried to get y'all to use it. They don't want to use it. They know to get that tool to me, but it's going to be over in here.
Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, see.
We're sending you that, though, Chaz. Sending you that shout. Next, we got Brother Thomas Sheffield. Good to see you, Chef. Good to have you online, man. I know I owe you an email, so I'm getting back to you. Thomas Sheffield celebrates today, standing ovation. My youngest daughter got a full-time job with the state of Tennessee in her major of geospatial analysis.
What? What in the world? Wow.
Who knew that you could
Come
major in
on.
such
I
things?
know.
Geospatial analysis.
Yes.
Congratulations to your daughter, Thomas. Tell her we're sending her shout out of love. We're sending you energy.
Yes.
How awesome is
great
it that you can
thing.
be in alignment in a way where you can not only choose a unique major, geospatial analysis, but you come out of college and get a job in it.
Wow. Full time.
Full time.
Yes.
State job. Blue Cross Blue Shield benefits. You ain't got to worry about it. Get a toothache, you go to the doctor. You ain't pouring the oil on your teeth. I know about that life. So yeah, absolutely. We send you that love for that energy in here. Let's see if we have any other coming back down. Standing ovations in here we want to read. Let's see. What do we have? Oh, we got Sister Denise. Good. I'm gonna start reading here, and Josh, when I get to the end, we'll have to go back to the feed to finish it out. Sister Denise Edmondson knows I was invited to speak at Haynes Middle School, right down the street. One of our community partners on this past Thursday to the children was also able to have two of my players and D, husband Demetrius, featured here at Infinity, accompany me. Yesterday, coached the Music City Jazz in our first home game since the pandemic to another win, 138-100, and, oh man, we got great standing ovations. We are 4-0.
Oh, wow.
Also, July 3rd, 12 p.m., I have a book launch in collaboration with other skaters. Skaters Connect presents The Evolution of Skating Volume 3.
Woo!
Denise, to the nose.
Ooh,
Shout out, snap.
things popping.
Everybody's doing their thing coming out of this space, man. So that's love.
Congratulate 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0. And 138 to 100. That's a heck of a score.
Another great score.
The Brooklyn Nets could have used y'all last night. You should send a couple of extra players over there. I
just
felt
threw that
bad for them.
shade,
They
boy, that was
can't. No,
so
I'm just
good.
saying.
You threw
I
that
don't have a
little
horse
shade.
in the game. I'm only going to
Because LeBron ain't, listen, I stopped watching because LeBron, okay? So
Don't be, I hate all your life. Well, it was a thrilling athletic competition.
goodness.
It was thrilling. The Nets of the Brooklyn faced the Bucks of the Milwaukee, and it went to overtime.
Okay.
So it was at least a good game there.
Okay.
So I will say that. I'm not sure how I feel about the new hashtag for the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's hashtag
Look at
Fear
the
the
Bucks.
Deer. Hashtag Fear the Deer. Yeah. But you can look online and find some interesting deer when the deer fight the hunter back. He fights the hunter who's trying to get him. That might be kind of what they're talking about. You know, you fear the deer now. So yeah, fear the deer. Congratulations to the Music City
I
Jazz.
thought it would be like Nuck if you book.
No,
What is
okay, there
that?
you
How
go.
does that
Okay, there
work
you
out?
go. Come on back.
Look if you book.
Oh,
Hey, hey.
See them like, let us do that.
Hey.
See them karma like, look. Dub C said, hey, let us do
He
that.
said,
Let
hold
us do
on,
that.
this
Hold-
is
hold
too
on.
much.
Dub's like, what church I walk into today?
I know.
It's a new kind of space, brothers. It's the real space. So awesome. We got you in that space. Shout out Star. Star said yes for the dental benefits. And we know about that. We know about that. We don't know about it. Okay, so we got great standing ovations there. Anything else we need to share that we want to make sure we catch? Also, a special standing ovation to all the fathers out there.
Yes.
Today is Father's Day. So standing ovations for you. We're going to have a great conversation coming up in a minute.
Yes.
So tell your friends, getting ready to have real talk, real conversation about this concept of daddyhood. So wherever you are, we send love to you, and this standing ovation goes to you as well. Yes. So tell us what we do.
Okay, so now at this point, if you shared something, I want you to have a nice seat. Sit down, just sit down. And the rest of us, wherever we are in the world, we're going to rise to our feet and give a collective standing ovation for all the good stuff. Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. Yes, y'all, those are the announcements and ovations. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is Ashe.
I'm not the typical toddler off the porch. I bring corrosion exploding off when I light the torch. I'm not authority, cordially ain't locked in my court. I'm sick and tired of all that I speak and furthermore. You beating the horses, these angels ignoring. I know it's important, injecting the situation like abortion is getting annoying, but I'm an endorsement. This is the problem, your reinforcement, and I am the artist who's painting the portrait, addicted to change, and I just made a fortune, believe I'm exposing, but that what is golden. The fact of the matter is what I'm imposing. Fake friends in my potion, got a couple open doors that ain't closing, but a couple closed doors won't open. You said bro, and I said yeah, broken. You talking towards my token, got a couple plans to set in this motion, got a couple minds to set an explosion. Cut the crap, quit the smack, I'm not your bag, so fumble that. What a jack, cause you brought me back, now I'm about to crash, I'm about to crash. You say that you know me, I move like a mamba, now I smooth as Kobe. You putting these words in my mouth to insult me, I'm constantly choking, cause that ain't the OG, the HYPOC is the rights to the OME. And now I'm a top tier and I'm feeling OP, outside of the beef like it was ravioli. Don't come playing games if you trying to control me. I'm speaking on dummies, so let me speak slowly. They expected to rap about something that had to do with the big trophy, but they're hearing it now, they're thinking like, wow, I mean, holy moly. Wow. I'm tired of passing ass. You thought this was business, but that's just a play. I'm starting to witness a glorification lap after reaction, she won't behave. I'm starting to pick up your attitude. Ain't no one mad at you, you just a whole parade. That's why I witnessed your outbreak. They attitude like, are you okay? You probably didn't even get that, but it's alright. Sit back, understand that this rap ain't a diss track. Don't mismatch. AL is coming soon. This ain't a lot like you say. Amateur load and tune shit. Yeah, I'm sorry for the way.
We'd like to invite you as we prepare for If Speaks to absorb today's meditation, which we're going to put up on the screen. Today's meditation comes from one of my favorite books, and that is a piece by Khalil Gibran, a book called The Prophet. I encourage you, if you've not read it, to definitely go out and get it and to absorb the lessons that are there. When we talk about Father's Day, we talk about children. There's a popular song by Sweet Honey and the Rock that discusses children. And I love it because what they did was they popularized, if you will. I'm getting a little feedback there, Joshua, there. Pull me back a little bit on there. Yeah, I think I'm on 2. Must be on 2. Thanks. There's a song that's been made popular. It's called, I think it's Your Children. But your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. Take a deep breath there. Exhale and release. And as we welcome you back into the space today, we hope that that meditation has given you the opportunity, the opportunity to think about some things. I see that I missed a little thing. Josh, I'm going to get you to bring up Destiny Muhammad, because Destiny has right here on the chat box, bring her up. She had something else happen, and I want to make sure I recognize her in Oaktown. Destiny Muhammad Trio hit the Healdsburg Jazz Festivals and got a standing ovation. So they gave you a standing ovation at the Jazz Festival. I'm always going to insert, and I'm going to be completely mold breaking and insert the standing ovation at this time to make sure we don't miss that. Thank you so much for sharing that with Sister Destiny. And we're in this space today, Father's Day, and we're talking now. I am excited to be able to be in a space here with a sister who is a grown-up. You know, many of y'all didn't realize she was a grown-up. She's a sister of humanity now. But again, your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. So in this case with longing for itself, I get to sit and have a good conversation, and really I get to get, what is it, third degree for my daughter for the first time in a public space. But this is my daughter, Jumoke Ya Santiwa Carr. Welcome to Infinity Fellowship, Jumoke.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right. You grown up.
Yeah, it's happening every day.
She is the oldest of our 5.
Goodness. What a blessing.
Space. So I thank you for coming in and facilitating the conversation today.
Oh, of course.
And getting us started with the conversation and where we are. So talk to us and tell us a little bit about what you do these days as a grown-up young lady.
Oh, I do a lot. I do a lot of stirring the pot with my parents. I do a lot of, honestly and truly, I do a lot of work. If there's nothing else that my parents taught me, is the value of hard work. So whatever I can get my hands on creatively, whatever I can do to be of service in the world, that's pretty much what I am motivated by consistently. So right now I'm a hairstylist and aspiring rapper. So that's different. This is a new
Look at you.
career for my dad here. I don't know how he's gonna enjoy that, but we'll see. But that's it. Being a big sister, being a family member, just living life. Honestly, that's what I do.
Well, it's on you now. Just talk about Daddy. What are some of the things that come up for you when you talk about fatherhood on Father's Day? You get to be the host today.
I
get to share.
do. Oh, well. That's the turn of events there. I like this. Some of the things that come up on Father's Day are appreciation, for me. And then immediately after, I get this overwhelmed feeling of like sometimes sadness, because a lot of my girlfriends especially do not get to experience just having a father or a father figure or a male role model in their life at all, like completely. So just to be deprived of that, sometimes I'm a little saddened by that. But then I remember that I have my dad, and thank God, because then I can share the wisdom that I get from you and pass it on to my friends that don't have a dad at all. So I'm in the spirit of gratitude, pretty much. How do you feel?
Well, you know, fatherhood, we talk about fatherhood, and when we're here in this space, we talk about fatherhood versus daddyhood. And daddyhood is a special kind of fatherhood. So we talk about
get me hip on the lingo.
on the lingo. Okay.
Hit me on the lingo.
But you know, when you're talking about fatherhood, anybody can be a father. Any male who has reached the space where your body is generating testosterone, where you're now able to have your reproductive system fully realized biologically, physiologically, it is at that point that you could become a father. You could become a father at 11, 12, 13 years old. Being a father simply means that you can contribute the chromosomes and the genetics that you need to help create a child. That's all it means. There is a space of daddyhood, though, that I've always taken seriously in my life. I always strive to take it seriously. I hadn't always hit, you know, for your dads out there who you try, you don't always hit the mark that you want to hit, but at least it says something when you have a mark. So when I think of fatherhood, and for those who are there, who are in this space, because particularly when we're talking about fatherhood of daughters in this era, it's a particular challenge because you move from the space of fathering a child, which is what adult males physiologically can do. They father children, to moving to a space of being a daddy, which is what a man does.
Correct.
So we have an adult male versus a man, right?
Accountability.
And accountability, and making sure that you're there for the child, make sure you're there. We talk about ancient languages. We talk about even Hebraic terms. We go back to those of you who are studying the biblical tradition. We talk about God being seen as various names: El, Elohim, El Shaddai. These various different designations of what it means to have that fatherly energy from even a God space. When you move that into Aramaic, Aramaic will change that to Abba, right? We have Abba in that space where the days of Jesus or Yeshua, he was saying Abba, which is typically taught as a more intimate connection with that fatherly energy, right? Abba is a little bit different. It's more toward the daddy energy. The Kemetic terms, the ancient Kemetic terms, as they are drawn, very complex symbols, 4 symbols to represent just the term father. So if you have 4 symbols together and you have them in, I didn't bring anything to draw per se, but it shows you about how much thought goes into this concept of fatherhood. 4 symbols that you traditionally see in the depiction of the term father. Hold that piece of paper still for me, Mo. We're real time.
Teammates.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It's working. Got it.
Yep.
One thing about you, you're going to make it very potent. If he's teaching you a lesson, he's going to teach it. You're
So if you
get
see
it.
that, you probably can see it on Jumoke's camera a little bit better if I put it over to her. Yeah, right? So you see this whole hieroglyph here in Meta Nature is the term for father in that space. And so when you see it originate in spaces that have a lot of layers on it, it means something. There's something powerful about this fatherhood energy. We see it go in the Yoruba tradition, a baba, which is what, you call me.
Yes.
Right, Baba. And Baba.
Baba.
And Baba, there's an intimacy there of Baba. It means father. It means dad. Priests are called Babalawos, right? Father of the secrets. There's a responsibility of the traditions that are there in fatherhood. That's how powerful that is. So even in this space, I'm Rev Jeff, but then to other people, the younger people, I take seriously also being a spiritual father. So to some people, I'm Baba Jeff, in the community, and that's fine. People call me that, and I accept that responsibility, and I embrace that responsibility because I like being a father. I like being a daddy too. And one of those things that I've learned over the years is that daddyhood can have challenges because fatherhood does not require responsibility. There are many people who will help create a child and then walk away from the child and not recognize that the damage exists not in the walking away alone, but if you see the walking away, if you see the walking away as the stone dropped in the pond, then you see the ripple effect that continues to emanate long after that stone has been dropped. That is early childhood. That is adolescence. That is dating and how to choose somebody you want to be with or not. That is how you allow men to treat you and you interact with men. All of those are the ripples that come from the space of the walkaway. So we're in a space now where we have to be centered and focused as men. If we're going to be fathers, we're also got to be daddies. And sometimes we got to be daddies to children who are not biologically ours, but that's a pleasure too. So that's been part of my journey, and that's been part of my quest.
Okay, so daddyhood. I'm glad you defined that. I will say that a lot of course, in our community, we don't get to have a lot of daddies. Then, if that's the case, being present is the most important part. It doesn't really matter if you decide, okay, like I'm gonna send a child support here, I'm gonna like say something here and there, but actually being there for the moments of growth of that person is what counts, and you've done your thing. So I have no complaints on that aspect. I wanna know, like, which is harder for you from your perspective? Because I really wouldn't know how to even elaborate on that at all. Like, which one would be easier for you? Would you rather come into my life, be in my life, and contribute externally? Or do you enjoy the pouring in process and the difficulties that come from that?
Okay, that's a good question. And Joshua, hit us on the chat feed so I can make sure if any questions come up, I can see them as they pop up. But in a few minutes, we're going to take your questions or your comments because this is real talk. Yeah. I'm sitting here with my offspring, my oldest daughter.
Here.
Truthfully, Mo, it's been a challenge because it's not easy. I don't want anybody at home who's out there working to be a father and a present father in their children's lives to think that this is easy. It's not. It's not easy, and there have been struggles along the way, and those struggles have all, of course, been worth it, but you don't always see the end. So you're just trying to move moment to moment to moment sometimes.
So you get, in other words, you've been a handful.
You have been a handful.
Yeah.
You have been a handful, and I know this, and I know this, and it's been tough because and let me say this, because there may be fathers out there who are dealing with this, and mothers too, because a lot of this mothers too. The reason why I like that Khalil Gibran quote is because, when it says your children are not your children, they are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself, right? They come through you, but they are not of you, and though they are with you, they belong not to you. You can't program your kids. You want to sometimes. You really want to give them the tools that will help them be successful. But when you're dealing from that space, my struggle bus with you.
Okay, come on, lay it on me.
Phew, Lord, we keeping it real, y'all, today.
Yeah, let me hear.
That's how we talk at family dinners.
What's the struggle?
The struggle bus with you, Mo, and the struggle bus for many dads out there. So y'all understand this. If you had a space where maybe dad wasn't around, understand there may be a space in here, and in about 5 or 7 minutes, we're going to open the floor up, and we please bring your questions in here. This is the space to get the instruction. This is the space to learn the lesson. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to share. We're being transparent up here. We want you to be transparent at home.
Yes, we do.
The struggle bus with you was there from the beginning.
Okay.
We went from the traditional space of your mother and I, and your mother and I were married briefly, but again, we didn't stay together. And that's part of life. It's part of the story. That's not ideally how I wanted it coming up, because in my household, I saw my mom and my dad, your big papa, Haywood H. Carr. In that space, that's what I always wanted traditionally. But things were not in the cards for me to do it that particular way. So first off, you were on the way. You were coming, emerging into the world.
Yeah.
I had a choice. I was in LA working on a film called Black Panther, and it was one of my first movie roles. And I remember that the vice president, the soon-to-be vice president of ABC, said, "You just need to stay here. You're going to work. You're going to be huge." And I was like, "Wow!" And then came the news. Now, some people would say, "Well, you should have just stayed there and sent a check home, bro."
I don't know why you didn't do that. I'm like, you should have stayed there and sent the check
We
home.
wouldn't have been sitting here. We wouldn't have been sitting here. Because I learned from seeing my father, who got up at 4 o'clock every morning when he didn't have a car and walked from Sevier Park area to Vanderbilt Medical Center area every morning and got to work there on time and then walked home to make sure that he took care of his kids with my mom. So you when you see that kind of work ethic, you know there's not a question of it, right? So we did traditional thing. You were born at home in the house with a midwife. We waited 7 days to see what energy came out of you, and the energy that came out of you was Jumoke, right?
Feisty.
Which means
Loved by everyone.
all right, loved by everyone.
Everyone loves the child.
Everyone loves the child, right?
Yes.
Everyone was loving that child energy. Ya Asantewa, your middle name,
Oh, Lord.
was named after one of the great Ashanti queens who decided to fight the British even when the men weren't going to fight. So when the men laid down their arms and said, "We're not going to fight anymore," the queen, Ya Asantewa, said, "No, we don't give up like that.
All right.
So we're going to go out and we're going to fight. And if I have to gather up the women to fight the British, then you all men will stay at home with the children, and we will go out and fight the British, and we will claim victory one day, but they will not sit on the golden stool. And just so you know, when we get home, you're not going to be welcome to get in our beds with us anymore."
All right.
And as a result, the next morning, all the brothers were on the battlefield, right? Following Queen Ya Asantewa. So this is the name that you have, right? So this is the energy here. So the struggle bus for me as a young dad who was your age when you were, right? Right. I was
At
your
my
age.
I'm like, I'm a parent right now. I
Right.
just, wow, my kid would be in for it.
Well, but I say,
at your house.
So you think about the struggle bus energy is, how do I contribute as a father to provide discipline, because that's important, to provide life skills and tools without breaking your spirit, because that was also and so it was a difficult thing, because you think about breaking spirits when you're dealing with a space where you want to empower people. You were a strong-willed child.
I'm in shock.
You were a strong-willed child. Okay. We used to go, and everybody who knows me knows it. Early on, even when your mom and I, we broke up, we went our separate ways, deciding that it's better to have two happy parents co-parenting than two people in a household together that could potentially cause trauma to a child, right? Real talk, y'all, real talk. But anybody who knows me during those early days, that I was with you or with me all the time. I taught you how to hold on to my belt loop. When we went to if you went to any TSU football or basketball games or anything at Fisk when I was lecturing up there, you always saw Jumoke in tow. And you, Moke, I remember one basketball game. We went to TSU. You don't remember this. You may have been
Please
2
tell
or
me.
3.
I don't know this story at all. Don't know.
And I'll never forget. I told you we were sitting near the court side, and there was a line. You were walking toward the court, and you walked up toward the line. I said, Jumoke, don't go across that line. And the line is right here. You did this. You looked at me. You said, and you kept moving. I was like, Jumoke, do not cross that line. And you looked at me. You kept moving over. I see you, little. As I came and I grabbed you because they were playing back and forth with the ball. But
I'm going to push the line.
you pushed the line. You didn't walk the line. You crossed the line. So that was the energy, though, that was in the space. You did that. And so in moments like that, I was like, I'm not going to I don't want to beat you and just teach you and make you terrified, because down later in life, you'd be afraid to take risks. You'd be afraid to take chances. So there's a thin line in fatherhood and daddyhood where you have to make sure that you provide the tools for your young people to be successful without breaking their spirit. Because you don't want to there's enough in this world that's going to break the spirit of young women in particular. That's going to challenge your spirit. You're going to run into people in life who are going to try to break your spirit because they don't feel confident about who they are, and they try to impose that on you. So the most that you can do is to equip children, young women, especially women, young daughters. When you talk about being a dad to a daughter, you equip them with the tools that they need to be strong. But survival is also a safety issue too. So that means that you won't just run out in the middle of a Mack truck, because you'll learn that there's a safety line that you want to make sure you take care of too. So that was one of the biggest struggles, and sometimes it's an opportunity now for me to move through, because you have your own spaces now that you travel in, and I have to, that's Moke, that's my daughter.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm learning a lot right now, even in this moment. I oftentimes, we get frustrated, especially being young. We're like, oh my gosh, I wish my parent was there for this. Why are they doing this? We have all this confusion. But throughout the difficulties that I've had in my 20s, because, this is one of the most trying times, I would say that I can always resort to my foundational understanding and teachings. So that definitely makes it so much easier to navigate. When I get to those obstacles, it's like, I definitely can see myself picking with you and putting my foot on that line in that court. But in real life, it's like, okay, I'll put my foot on that line. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, my daddy told me. Every
Well, that's
decision,
normal, though, because some things my daddy told me that I didn't listen to. And then when I say it to you or any of the other kids, it's almost as if I hear him in my inner ear, and I hear his voice. I'm like, oh man, it's stuck on
there.
me.
It's permeated, and I appreciate it. It's one of those things that only time can tell. As I get older, things become even more prevalent. I'm like, okay, my dad said this, and they become metaphors almost. Some of the smaller things like that one story is now blowing my mind, because I'm like, I can reapply so many things to every aspect of my life. And see, that's why you need a father, because even though I had divorced parents, there are things that even I feel that fathers don't recognize they can't provide, and it's okay. I've realized as I'm older, I'm like, okay, this is why I have two parents. As I'm passing 25, 26, we've had a struggle in communication and emotional communication, but that's what I have my mother for. And I had to realize, like, there were times I'd be like, okay, my dad's not understanding where I'm coming from. I'm frustrated. I'm crying. Why is he telling me to calm down? You're being too logical. Stop. You're constricting me. I need to just go crazy on you. And now I'm like, okay, my dad can't take that. He's no idea what to do with it, because it's not natural necessarily in the way that you're naturally that you function. My dad is the person that's, hey, watch out for that line. My mom is the person that's, watch out for that line, because if you get hit with that basketball, you're gonna be crying about it later, and then you're gonna feel like this, and blah, 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 blah. She provides the context to the experience, right? And so that's where the balance kind of comes in, because when I was younger, there were so many emotional things that I needed to grow through, right? And there was difficulties, especially as a young girl. You get your period. Your dad's like,
I called you. You were in my house.
which
I
one do
called
you
my
need?
auntie.
You need the big one?
Okay.
I'll never forget. I'm at the store.
But see, I'll never forget that, because that's the context of family too. When we're talking about fatherhood and motherhood, and it's beyond when we talk about these, orientation lines and that kind of space, because it doesn't have anything to do with orientation. It has to do with the balance that is brought into life by parents. It's a space there where you get an opportunity to be who you're supposed to be and provide that. We were with me when your cycle came, and I would get like 11:05 Paris. But the first thing I did was I called Auntie Gussie, my sister who lived in town, and I called Grammy from next door. Ooh. And I said, Mama, Gussie, come over here, and I need you to have a conversation with Jumoke. And after that, of course, later on in trying to buy things, that's a challenge for a dad too, because we don't have those experiences.
See,
when it's time for me to teach Joshua or Daniel or one of my boys how to make sure that they urinate straight, I can teach them that.
Right.
Right. But things that I have to learn when I'm with you and you're younger, including how to maintain hygiene, I have to study that kind of thing. Right. So when we talk about, I'm grateful as a father to have had somebody in my life like my mom. And you're watching Grammy. We hope you're watching your kid and grandkid. But Grammy was able to say, look, we'll go in here and talk in the bathroom. Right. And Auntie, they were able to come around you at that time. And then you had your mom, too, to have conversation with about that. I can't physiologically talk about that. I don't care how many books I study. I have not personally experienced that. Right. So there are those moments where, as a dad, as a young dad, I did struggle with you as a teenager, going in the kitchen door as one person and then coming out the other door as somebody else. Yeah. And emotionally saying, what in the world is going on?
This Tasmanian devil in my house.
But that's why, right? You healthy relationships with mother figures are important. But also as dads, we also have to recognize those moments where we have to have support from other spaces. And what happens is a lot of times it's the perceived stress that fathers get that prevent them from stepping into daddyhood, letting people know when they need help, recognizing when they're out of their wheelhouse, or doing the work to dig deeper to do what they can to be even more supportive in those spaces.
And see, that's why I applaud you, because you're a smart father. Smart being you approach fatherhood and daddyhood with logic. You approach it with the same effort that you approach everything else in your life, and it doesn't lack. And I say all of that to say that you're correct as far as what you had to do with Grammy. I asked my dad, this was a couple weeks ago, I was going through some stuff. I was like, Papa, what do I do? I'm crying, I'm sad. What does he do? He sends me a Beyonce video.
Oh, did I send you that video?
He sends me a motivation. And I've always, as I'm older, I'm able to reflect on times where I get upset with you in my own right. I'll be sitting at home like, man, my daddy wasn't understanding where I'm coming from. Then I think back to myself, and I'm like, if it wasn't for my dad in moments where I had extreme emotional confusion coming in, being like, well, I don't really know what to do, Moke, but here's that NDRE tape. Or, hey, I don't know what to do, but here's Lauryn Hill. I would not be able to draw those references, and I see that that is the way that you know to communicate with me. If you don't know how to do it, you'll go get the resource. And
That's a good
and
lesson.
that
That's a
is-
good lesson.
And that's all you can do as a father, though. Sometimes you're not able to be the nurturer in an emotional way, especially me being a woman. That's difficult. You don't know how to navigate womanhood. But you recognize things that have helped other women through the respect of your own mom in your house. So I'm like, hey, like, thank God you respect Grammy and have looked up and had her in your life.
And that's important too. So life lesson for young ladies who are out there who are navigating this experience here. There are some people who have written off the relationship because there's too much pain with fathers,
Yeah.
right? But you also recognize that there's a space of forgiveness that has to come into place. And I'm not saying forgive bad behavior or trauma or anything like that, because there has to be some amends made on the father's behalf if they're not stepped up and they've not been there. If not, then you're talking about a whole other subset of how you have to navigate that relationship going forward for healing. But the forgiveness space is for the daughters to be able to move forward.
Yes.
Because fathers out there, you young fathers out there especially, when you're here trying to navigate this relationship, recognize the impression that you're going to have on your daughter for how she will choose relationships, period. So fortunately, I had my mom and dad there. And I think back of the days when they were cooking chicken backs and pinto beans. I didn't know what a chicken back is. If those of you know what a chicken back is, there ain't no meat on a chicken back. It's just to give you a little bit of seasoning. I look back and saw them with white square pieces of paper, figuring out numbers and doing things like that. We were getting stuff from the Goodwill. I didn't realize until I got older that we were working poor coming up because we always had something to eat. Right. We were already there. So I look back as an adult with adult sensibilities and see my parents. I'm like, man, my parents were going through some times, but they didn't implode on each other.
Yeah.
They didn't beat us down and throw us out. They always made sure our clothes were clean. They were always making sure they were there for us. They were showing up at our programs at school. They were fighting for us when we got in trouble and all of that kind of thing that happened. So I say that to say that became a template for me for relationships. And though I always strive to be better, there's always headroom space to grow. What I know is that has a lasting impression on how people interact with other people too. Yeah. So even when I see some of the cats,
the difficulties in relationships for me, I will give you props.
You dated some good guys.
I have not.
I know some good guys you dated.
And
to
my default, you put a bug in my ear when I was in the 9th grade before I went to high school. And I tell my friends all the time, I said, my daddy sat me down. He gave that to me raw. He kicked it to me. Boys do not want nothing, Moke. You about to go into high school? They don't want nothing.
I was a little more hardcore then.
They don't want nothing. And I took that because of the influence that you did have and the impact that you had on me. I was able to see that in a lot of the men's actions. It didn't get difficult until I got older and wanted to develop like more long-term relationships, and some difficulties arose from not having seeing a two-parent household. But
and some guys get some young men in the space where they're trained though, and what their environment is. Yeah, they're taught to have better game when they get a little bit older. By the time they get college age,
be better manipulators.
Be better at manipulating because there's not somebody sitting down with them, telling them about respect and telling them about what to look for in a woman. So the default sometimes goes to get what you can, how you can, and move on. So as there's been people who have said, "Oh, Moke, that's a nice young man." I was like, he reminds me of myself. I never tell you that. But then there are times when there are people in there, and it's your children are not your children, right? You have to.
Me. I needed a Snickers.
And I said, what is she thinking as a dad, not as a father?
Yeah.
But as a dad, you reach a sensitive space where, because I love you, I want to make sure you're with the best person that's going to bring out the best in you.
Yeah.
And when I don't see that, then it's difficult because I don't want anybody out there faking it. But then you have to walk that thin line, dads, of being supportive of your daughter's choices.
Ooh, Lord.
While at the same time not going so far off the rails that if something happens, they can't feel they can come back to you. Because if that happens, you create a space where somebody can create a wedge or divide between you. And we went through a situation once where I was like, I was the worst dad in the world. I was never there. Let's be real. I'm going to take some questions.
I mean, yeah, honestly.
30-second warning on questions. I'm going to take some questions and comments.
It was difficult. I felt like, as I got older, like I said, I struggled between that line of, okay, I have a father, and then there are these men out here that are just extreme manipulators at this term. Like I wasn't understanding that somebody could put on the suit, the outward, like bravado, what Grammys call it, breath and britches. All right. Yeah. So she says they got breath and britches, Moke. You don't even need to worry about that. And so that's what Big Papa used to say. I had to navigate that area myself. And I'm appreciative that my parents just didn't go too far. Like, you didn't just shun me. You didn't know what to do. I'm glad you just floated. Because at that moment, when you don't know what to do, you just stand there. Like, you can't do anything. I had to figure it out and navigate it myself. And now that I'm on the other side of that, I'm like, now I understand not only how forgiveness works, but how men really work. Because a lot of men can put on that. You taught me, he's going to open the door. Adult males, yes. Young boys.
Yes.
They'll open the door for you. They're going to treat you like this. This is how you know. So I'm looking for these things. I'm like, oh, yeah, he opening the door. This is what my dad said. 8 months later, wait a minute, there's a whole nother person in here. Hold on. Dad, I couldn't even begin to understand that. But as I navigated that space of transitioning from being in that situation, it allowed for me to understand you better. And it allowed for me to forgive parts of you that were just human, and for me to know the difference between human mistakes, things that are just surface level mistakes, like, I forgot to take the trash out today, versus, I'm just completely not making any money. I don't feel like doing anything. That's a different ethic. It's just a different set of values. And so now that I have that contrast, I can understand you, I can appreciate you, and I can see where you do put in that effort, and I can find that commonality in the personality traits and the people I interact with going forward. But it didn't take that many situations.
Yeah.
It didn't take. I've been in 2 relationships.
Okay, that's good.
I didn't do that because you told me, and I got to my 20s, and that's when I decided to date. Because prior to that, Bob, I tell you, I go in school. My daddy said don't do that. Nope, you ain't talking about nothing. Nope, nope. You can't talk to me. Nope. My daddy said you doing this. Caught you. They couldn't stand me. They couldn't stand me because they could not. They couldn't crack.
No, I was gonna hip. Now look, on a real tip, dads, you always need to hip your kids to game, especially your younger. Because I used to tell you all the time, I was a boy at that age, so I understood where I was, and I consider myself a decent guy, although I went through some ups and downs.
Yeah.
I know. So just make sure that you ask these questions.
Yeah.
Even as a young lady dating, there are questions that you have to ask. Check with the young man to see what is his relationship like with his mother.
Yeah.
Right? Because how he treats the women in his life is a direct indicator of how he's going to treat you. And I'm not going to oversimplify that, but I will say that the women in his life, he may not have a relationship with his mom, but he's got a great relationship with his aunt and his grandmother and other people around there. But it's a direct indicator of how he's going to treat the women who are in his space too. And what we've gone to with the space of fatherhood and daddyhood is there are some boys who've been out there who have been babied so much that they don't have the capacity to stand up and do the work that they need to do to transition from fatherhood into daddyhood.
Yes.
So when daddyhood for me was challenged, I thought about me in my late 20s, early 30s. And if you remember when you all had moved to Tuscaloosa and to Epps, Alabama,
That farm.
Mississippi on the farm, I had to come get you. When you weren't with me in the summers and the holidays, I would come get you every other weekend on Friday. During the times when we had challenges, I had to transport myself back to that time to remind myself that everything was going to work out. There were things I never told you that I went through as a father that I don't know if you could tell your children in an early age.
No.
About just simply coming to pick you up on a Friday and to get you back on a Sunday and to have a 6.5 hour journey to get down there and back. And there were times where I would pick you up, I would leave in the day on Friday, and when I didn't have a car, I'd rent a car, and I would get down there and pick you up, get you back. We spend time, we go to Grammy's house and play with Big Papa, and you're the grandkid who knows Big Papa because he transitioned since then for everybody else. But we would do that and then leave on Sunday, either after church or after Sunday dinner, and take you back down to Epps and Mississippi, all of that 6.5 hour drive. That means that I was dropping you off at night, and I was getting back on the interstate to come back another 6.5 hours. So this is 13 hours back and forth, right? On Friday and on Sunday evening. And there were things that I swore I would never say to you. I remember one thing, and I'm telling you this, and I'm telling you all this at home. Talk about daddyhood. I remember more than one occasion, it being freezing cold, and I get in that car at 9 or 10 o'clock in that woods area where y'all live, and find my way through that Mississippi road. It was just shy of Meridian, Mississippi. And I would drive out and gas my car up. And an hour into the trip, I had taken off my shirt, turned the radio up, opened all 4 of the windows, and turned the heat off because it was freezing cold. And that's the only way I was able to keep myself from falling asleep at the wheel to get to Nashville the extra 5 hours.
What?
And there were times 2.5 hours that I was just breaking my jaw, slapping myself just to get to, because here I was so exhausted, but I was never going to allow myself to be in a place where I was not going to put the time in for my daughter. That's why, and it's not that I'm not saying I'm super dad. I'm not saying I'm Superman. Lots of dads do this, and we got a question about blended families. I want to get to this. But this is why, with all of the love and positive energy I have in the world, I have little tolerance for people who are fathers who say they can't spend time with their kids.
I
have little tolerance for people who say, I
ain't
gonna pay her child support because
That don't
I don't
make
know what
sense.
she's doing with it. It's not my job to determine that during those days when I was in that space. I have zero tolerance for saying this woman has a bad attitude, so I'm going to take it out on my children. I have zero tolerance for that simply because I know what I did as a young man. So when it comes time to now living forward in those moments when they grow up and there are tough times and you have contrast, and contrast is a space to grow, but it's during those times you notice. You may know my personality. I don't like to argue or yell or anything, and I'll just be quiet and I'll listen. I'm in that space of saying I'm pretty confident in knowing what I've done. So I've got to hold on through this time of turmoil so that when we come out on the other side, we won't have any relationship damage. So that's what's most important.
The respect.
That we stay connected, daddy-daughter, and that's how you begin to build generationally for people and communities all over, regardless of what your race, ethnicity, gender, orientation, whatever it is. What can you leave in the world as a legacy that has to come from a space of healing? So I've got a question that's coming up from Felina in Wisconsin. If you got something, type it in quick, y'all, because we won't be here much longer, and we have an honest talk today on Father's Day.
Oh, we're getting into
Sister
it.
Felina said, how is it fathering within a blended family? This is when I need Tony to push that button, that whoop button. Ding, ding. Whoa, Lord.
How is that?
Fathering within a blended family has been, it's been a workout.
Yeah.
It's been a workout. It's been a workout. I can speak to my experiences. I can say that the end result has been worth it. When you go into a gym, though, and you're just pushing up the bar for 6 weeks, you're not going to grow. Every time you add some weight to the bar, every time you add a new exercise, it's going to be more and more difficult, but in the end, the results are going to be what's important. There were difficulties in dealing with a blended family. I brought you into the relationship with your bonus mom, Kanitha.
It was a world.
Kanitha brought Joshua and Daniel into the relationship. So the relationship of navigating father and baby daddy drama, baby mama drama, all the things that people have now popularized in culture, I've been in those situations. And those are situations where you have to then ask yourself, can you practice what you teach? Mm-hmm. Can you keep yourself focused on your family's goals first and foremost, right? As a co-parent, I had to commit the blended family. For those of you who are dealing with blended families, we have a blended family. We love it. 3 we brought in, 2 we have together. You have to always maintain communication within the family, and you also have to do something unique. You have to make a commitment to work not to trash the other parent who is outside of the family. So there were some times, man, I wanted to trash your mom. I'm just admitting it. I wanted to trash your mom. Your mom and I talk now. We're good. We stay in touch and all that. Your mom has been here at Infinity before. So, but there were times early on in our 20s.
Yeah, I know 20s.
Where I want to tell you, I want to say, listen, here's what your mom, but I can't do that because that is going to create a rock in your pond of consciousness that is only going to cause negative consequences. Because parents do not attempt to try to elevate yourself by belittling another parent just to make yourself right in the moment. Right. There's a cost down the line. So for me, navigating as a co-parent, navigating in a blended family, you're going to have to first sit down and say, what is the long-term goal as it relates to these children? How can I create the environment where we can all get together? Mm-hmm. If it's a special event, we can all come together for the special event. If it's a graduation, it's going to be there. When you have a child, these are issues that you have to think about, especially when you have a blended family. This is something also with daddies and daughters.
Yes.
I'm giving this advice. Not just from a spiritual, esoteric space of fatherhood and let's talk about bringing together the union of the opposites and creating the spiritual temple and the Holy of Holies that produces the child, all of that wonderful spiritual stuff. The other reality is we have to be careful with who we create children with because it creates a bond that is going to last for the rest of your life and beyond.
Yes.
If we begin asking ourselves, would I be comfortable with my DNA combining with this person's DNA and their personality traits and their isms and idiosyncrasies? If I'm comfortable with that, yes. If not, then by all means protect yourself.
That makes it easy to leave a
Protect
bad
yourself.
relationship.
Yeah.
That's what made it easy for me to make choices. It was like, okay, hold on. So if I have a kid though with all of this, that's going to be worse for me down the line. Like, you have to be very picky. So, yeah, I agree. I'm glad that you have chosen good people to have kids with, though, because it turned out pretty good.
Well, I'm grateful. I just tell people, in all honesty, y'all know,
very grateful.
I was in the arts and, traveled around and toured the country and did films and did a lot of that stuff. But there's a 16-year gap between biologically this one and the next one. That's
a choice.
That's a choice, right?
That's
so I'm telling you,
conscious effort.
Protecting yourself can work. And so now we're in a great space with that. Sister Denise, I think, has a question there, and I'm going to start reading it, Joshua, and then we'll go off. Jeff, why do you think people, not just the children, make it so difficult when a bonus dad steps in the space where there's no father by speaking such things as, that is not my daddy, yet he has done and continue to go above and beyond as a real father? Okay, let's just, Denise, I'm gonna shoot straight with you on that. When I think about my personal situation and our personal situation, if I can share, and my son is back there on the back, he's back there on the computer, so he's getting it all now, and he's 19. He's a grown up now, so he can deal with this. We did not get the attention. We did not get the attention in terms of contributing to the relationship. We did not get the attention and the contribution in the relationship in my two sons' lives until it got serious and Kenitha and I got married. Then the personality started to come out more. Then the drama came out more. There's something about the male psyche that is, I father, and again, I'm not going to be pejorative toward anyone because we all, we do our best to keep in that alignment space. But I will say that there is a male energy. You call it a carnal instinct, a gut instinct, whatever it may be, but it's attached to the biological fatherhood component, Denise, where a person can biologically father a child and have nothing to do with it until another male comes into the space. And now all of a sudden, we want to be a part because we feel as if that person may compensate in a way that will make them attach more to the person who is there doing. So men, let me say this, if you're in a situation like that, don't be like that because it's a space of lack that you're operating from. It's a space of lack, and the lack vibration will create, again, a stone in a pond that will send those ripples. And guess who's going to pay the price for the ripples? The children are going to pay the price for the ripples, not you. Yeah. We have to move beyond this ego space to be able to. I've sat down with my co-dads and had conversations. Your mom's relationships, I sat down with them and said, hey, listen, how do we do this? We've had conversations. We've been able to text and talk. And although some of them may not have been long-term conversations, we were able to reach a point where we could just talk, and that's part of manhood that is associated with daddyhood. Be man enough to breathe through your own insecurities, through your own discomfort, and be able to say, if I'm not doing this and someone else is doing this, I'm going to applaud it. But the ideal space is for you to give an overabundance of love. And that's the difference between a stepdad and a bonus dad, a stepmom and a bonus mom. So when you have a bonus mom, bonus dad mentality, you help build the family. The family is community too. And that's how you reach that space of balance there. I know it happens. That's real talk. Yeah. Real talk. Okay, we got great. Oh, got one from Andrew. Click on that one. The one from Andrew, I think. Oh, yeah. Right there. That one, Josh. The bottom one, yeah. Great story, Jeff. I remember when my dad taught me that trick. If you're driving tired, get cold. That's something.
I've learned that as a 20-somethings.
That's something that a dad will pass down. And I send a shout out to Andrew on Father's Day, who is in a great situation as a great bonus dad. Yeah. And we know, man, we've had these conversations. We've seen this conversation and everything that you and Karen do and everything that you go through and continue to go through and grow through. It will be a testament to how honest you can continue to be with each other and the time that you can put into young people. I admire Andrew on things that he does. Andrew's been camping, fishing, building, creating. These are the things that he's putting in there. Now, you don't, can you still change the oil on the car? Do you remember?
I can change my own tire. I can, one time we went fishing and I didn't have a fishing hook or anything and I made my own pole.
Yeah, okay, good.
And you remember I caught my first fish that way. It was at a family reunion. So I'll say I had a good dad and made me very resourceful.
These are important things.
They are.
Because I taught you how to change oil when you were 12 years old.
I ran out of gas in my car last week. And I thought to myself, when the gas station across from me didn't have gas cans, I said, okay, oh my gosh, I gotta call somebody. Most women panic. Man, I walked over to the Dollar General. I got a watering can and a smaller watering can for $10.
Okay.
And me and Ayana walked up the street, a mile maybe, got some gas, and we went back to the car, filtered it, drive to the gas station. Now I could have panicked and called you and waited 2 hours. Oh my
Well, if
God,
you were stuck,
man, my
though,
dad.
if you were
That's-
stuck, I'd come
There's no
there.
point in having a dad if you're gonna have to. If I gotta keep on calling you. No.
Well, you got to call. Well, you got to also, if you tell me you're
If
going to
it's
be there, you
that
got to be
difficult.
there. It's difficult.
How
I got a
well?
good one here on, we've got one, and then we'll take two more, and then we'll close it out, y'all. So it's been a great
it.
Father's Day here. We've got from Moella? I think so.
Yeah.
Malewa. I think it's Malewa. I want to get that. But this is a great question. How do you give a child the freedom to explore spiritual practice, to uncover their life's spiritual greatness without becoming dogmatic? Good question. Excellent question. Let me give this to you. Number one, you have to develop your own spiritual practice and not be ashamed of it. And when I say spiritual practice, I'm not talking about a religious practice per se. I know parents in the concept of fatherhood and motherhood, but I know parents who say, I'm not really into this religious thing, but I just want my kid to have a foundation, so I'm just going to take them there. And the kids are taught that they're bad, there's something wrong with them, that they're filthy rag, that they're full of sin, and then they get confused, and then they get to college or right beyond that, and they get woke. Like many of us did. We got woke, but how do you get woke? And then you have children and then put them through the exact same process without remembering what the process did to you. Right. So the first thing is your spiritual practice. Even if your spiritual practice is meditation, even if your spiritual practice is reading, involve your children in that. If it's going to the woods and talking about nature, involve your children in that space. If it's about religion, teach them about religions. Teach them about different religions. Teach them the good that are in those different religions. Give them an opportunity to be expansive so that as they become adults, it becomes a choice. One, setting that in. This is spirituality, one of my Spirituality 101 series pieces. Number one, develop and be bold about your own spiritual practice. Two, involve your family in that spiritual practice. And three, align yourself with a community that also practices those same energies without making the children feel as if something's wrong with them. We came up, you didn't have any hog or anything like that, vegetarian. We grew up vegetarian.
Very
Okay.
explorative.
Mary had all of that.
Expansive.
But we had people even in the family was like, she vegetarian. You let us watch it. We're gonna give that child some bacon.
I would have been
She needs some
smacked it out
bacon.
their hand because I was a warrior. I wasn't going for that. My daddy, when you see the devotion from your own parents to their own proper principles, that
Well, again, there it is though.
That's
But
what
there
you
are
said,
people
no shame.
even within your family who say, well, I got to save that child's soul. I got to give them some bacon. I got to do something, something that's out of alignment with what your practice is. You got to be bold enough to protect your children from there. And if you could find a community, the thing I love about Infinity is, as a community, we're committed to providing that kind of community space. So Sister Kenitha, when we are in session, the youth department, we have 3 different levels of young people, and they learn the law of attraction principles. They learn spiritual growth and development, and you're in a space where it's not seen weird. So I always say, imagine where the young people of Infinity are going to be when they don't have to unlearn things. Man. They can already be expansive from the time they're little until the time they're teenagers. That is a superpower that we're going to reintroduce into the world.
It is.
So we're excited about that. And we're
so
excited about
good.
this. So I'd say personal, family, community, and find that space. That's the benefit of a Sunday community, of a place where you can go weekly to be around like people. You can get a lot online. You can get a lot from various individual practices. You can get a lot from your therapist. You can get a lot from your card reader. You can get a lot from your life coach. You can get a lot of that. But when it's time to sit down around the table and have like-minded people who can help you through that practice, that's the benefit of community. It creates generational strength. All right, let's see. We've got one more, I think, and of course, exploring. Great questions, y'all. Thank y'all. What a great session today. What's some good general advice tips for fathers of daughters in the early years? All right.
I got some good advice for you.
You got some for the early years?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to give them from
Start.
a father's perspective.
Exactly.
Number one, hug your daughters. Hug your daughters. Scientific research has proven that when you do not hug your daughters, that makes them tense about relationships. It does not allow them to develop intimacy with people. Daddies, hug on your daughters. Even when you don't want to be bothered and they want to kiss you on your cheek or hug you, you take a deep breath and you put that work down, because that work is always going to be there, and you hug your daughters. If they want to climb on your back, you let them climb on your back.
Leave them alone. Let them do them.
Look in your daughter's faces and you call them by terms of endearment. You call them pretty. You call them beautiful. You call them smart. You call them awesome. These are early days things. Listen, you should do this now even. But before that, you should have this conversation, and you should be in alignment in this space where you will say, here are the things that I'm going to do. Now, and you give them terms of endearments. This is can I blast you? No, I can't.
Blast on.
This is Shugboog, which is short for Sugar Booger. But this is Shugboog. She's still Shug in my phone, if she calls me and says Shug. I give her that because you become the template for how people are supposed to treat her and how you communicate. So you also become the template for what love and loving relationships are for people. So you have to be mindful of doing that. So dads, hug them, spend the time with them. And here's the other thing, empower them. Like I said, Moke was 12 years old. She was up under that Honda with me, learned how to pull that oil filter.
Yeah.
And how to crank that tire up. Because when I look at this, I said, when I empower our daughter to do things for herself, she's not looking for somebody who can do something for her.
No.
When I was in the stage of single dad, I went and got, and don't joke me because you're a cosmetologist now, but I had a cosmetologist teach me how to cornrow and how to do hair. I used to rock your Nubian knots. I don't care what you say. I used to get those hair books, and I used to do my daughter's hair because in my space, I was like,
loose hair. My ponytails were so loose.
that your ponytails were tight. You had Afro puffs, but your cornrows were pretty tight, though. I could do that pretty tight.
We're going to get it back tightened up. Gonna get you
Your
back
Nubian
right.
knots were fire, though.
Yeah, he had me. I will not take that from you. You could get that hair together.
Thank you.
I have that worry.
Because in my space, I was like, I'm not going to be around or date a woman because I need somebody to take care of my daughter.
Right.
Right? So it's the same thing there. When you're being that dad, you're pouring that energy in, you're letting them know this is how I talk to you. And remember that your child, psychologically speaking, is imprinted for life from age 0 when they start up to about age 7. They have a psyche that is imprinted with how the world operates and how things how they're going to operate in that world by that time. It's difficult to unprogram the subconscious. We work on doing that here for a lot of people. But that's the impact that you have in those early years. So I say do that and have your fun with your kids. Take your kids places with you. Take them to your plays. Take them to your work job, to your job.
Everywhere. Let them be under your desk. Let them fall asleep in your car, whatever they like
with
to
you
do.
in the car.
With you, yeah. Let
Don't
them
leave
go
them
to
in the
sleep,
car.
though.
Yeah, go to sleep.
Leave them
and
alone.
right. Those are good early years stuff that we could do. That's good for fathers and daughters in the early years. Thank you. That was good stuff.
I will say another thing in the early years that's really, really important for fathers is spending time communicating. Again, it always goes back to communication, because not being able to have connection is the only reason for a relationship. I don't look for external things when I'm going into partners, friendships, anything, because the thing that my father built with me was a connection. He didn't build a relationship of every time I need $20, hey. He said, okay, you're going to keep asking for $20 because you need money.
That never
Let me
stops,
show you
Vince.
how to do it. It doesn't stop, but it does give you a balance. That's right. You know, so at an early age, the biggest thing that you can do with your child is be yourself. Allow for your child to see you and be there, like be present, communicating with them back and forth, and play. Because we get to learn a lot about you, like, through your personality. There are things that I see in myself that I'm like, oh, that's my daddy. That's my daddy. And sometimes I'm like, I bet my daddy don't even know that I know that's my daddy. He doesn't even know the little nuances and things that I've known since a kid. It's like little things that you know because he allowed himself to build that connection with me. He can't take it off. He can't fake it with me. I can't fake it with him.
I love it. I love it. You all, great conversation.
Yes.
Mo, I love you, baby.
I love you too. You pop now.
Oh, that's right, because I am
Because,
Pop.
yeah,
I did go
my-
to be
yeah.
from Baba to Pop. And
Pop
so-
because
I used to call
Big
my dad
Papa,
Pop.
exactly why I call you Pop now. Yeah, I feel like you earned it.
All right, good. Okay, good. Thank you.
I'm like, he calls his dad Pop. I want to say that. When I
did.
get older, I want to say that. So started just sneaking it in there. You took it.
Create some terms of endearment as well that you can always have. All of my kids, especially my daughters, they have those names that we call them by, and create that culture for the family, wherever it is, and whatever the nature of your family is, whatever the structure is of your family is, give them that love and stability on Father's Day. We thank you for tuning in with us and being a part of Infinity Fellowship.
Yes.
Thank you, Sister Jumoke, as an adult, but also loving Sugbug, my baby girl who's my grown up. Oh, wait a minute, we got the. Oh, here's the other thing. I'm gonna take a point of personal privilege. I'm gonna add something to Tashana. Let your kids jump on you. Let your daughters talk to you, and you learn to play with your daughters. All right, and you learn to play with your daughters. I hadn't played with Jumoke, and it's like, what is our slide thing?
Yes.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Miss Mary.
What is it?
Slide. Slippery slide. Don't let mama hit you I got you. No.
I think I got you. That first time I got you. We used to get up to like
Dang.
20, I think. I used to
Oh,
get
we
it.
go
You ain't getting
crazy.
me in slide. You ain't getting me in
No,
slide.
I'm not. I
So-
mean, if we get focused though,
No,
lock
we get focused.
in,
We
it's
get
like,
in there. It's like,
my hands hurt, Bobby. Your knuckles are bigger than mine.
I
Hold
can't-
on.
That's the masculine answer. Sometimes I,
But then I'm a fighter, so it's like, I don't care. This is my dad. I don't care.
play the games. Empower, love. Happy Father's Day, y'all. Happy Father's Day. Great to see y'all. Great to have y'all. We're nuts. And we're proud of that.
We are.
So as we get ready to leave, as we get ready to go from here, we want to say a special thanks to each of you. I want to encourage those of you who have enjoyed today to tag a couple, tag a father, tag somebody in this space and say, you know what, watch this discussion. Or be a part of this service today. Be a part of this conversation. We've had some good real talk here today. I want to say thanks to everybody who's made Infinity what it is on this special day today. And we want to speak affirmations for all of the fathers. So take a deep breath in and exhale to release. Allow your eyes to gently close. As we pour just a little bit of energy into realignment for manifestation. God, we thank you for this moment today. We thank you for this discussion today. We thank you for this wonderful Father's Day, this El Day, this Elohim Day, this Abba Day, this Baba Day. This day of understanding the powerful impact that fatherhood and daddyhood has on our present and future. The intersecting energy of that divine, womanly, motherly spirit energy as well. So I speak a profound closure blessing as we close out the service today on all those gathered. We pronounce in this moment the affirmation that we are exactly where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be here. To the young parents out there who are listening in this moment, who are making a commitment to empower their young people, to love on their daughters and their sons. We are speaking healed relationships right now on this day. We are speaking forgiveness for those who are in our past who made us struggle, recognizing that forgiveness is for us right now. Forgiveness is saying I'm not going to allow an anchor from the past to hold me in this present moment and prevent me from going into the bright future that awaits me. And so we release, we let go. And we recognize that all things work together for the good. So we speak a blessing upon family and community right now. And we speak a proclamation that all is well, that all is good, that all is beautiful, that all is growth, that all is alignment, that all is abundance. And for these things, we give you thanks, acknowledgement, love, and some praise too. All for these things and other things that don't go into words. We breathe in the gratitude together. Inhale. Exhale to release. Amen and Ashe. Y'all, thanks for tuning into Infinity Fellowship today. We remind you that we are here every single Sunday. And as we move through these summer months, we will look forward to seeing you in person soon. If you're a member of Infinity already, check your email this week. We got some surveys to send you so we can get this thing rocking and rolling. If you'd like to join Infinity Fellowship, just send us an email at infinitynashville@gmail.com. We want to thank everybody who helped make this third Sunday an awesome Sunday. To our youth committee, our young people's committee who came up in this place and showed out. Sister Carmen Ridley, happy birthday, Carmen.
Happy birthday.
Brother Dub C., Brother Christian Ezel, y'all love him. I know you do. Look out for his music. He's going to make a mark on the world. We're so proud to have him with us today. Brother Joshua Smith Carr on the technology back there. Brother Tony Insignaris on the technology back there. Sister Kenitha Carr and the Voices of Infinity on all the love. Sister Jumoke Yasantiwa Carr holding it down. So we speak love into your life. And as we play our final song, we invite you to sing along with us. We'll put up a verse so that you can sing it along with us. This is the Infinity Song. This is the song that we sing to close out our fellowship. We speak that you will join us next week. Next week, we are going to be on the mats. We're doing Yoga Sunday, which means we're going to get that mind, body, and spirit aligned. I can't wait to get to the sacral chakra, that place of creativity. We're going to get all of your chakras in order. So as we leave this place into a world that awaits our light, we speak that something is said or shared that has brought you closer to your center of spirit. We love you. We speak life into you. We speak that we recognize that we are all family. Join us in singing words on the screen. Today's a brighter day, and we are on our way.
Then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminded me to look at you and see family. If
We speak that the love of God, that the peace of the ancestors and the universe rest, rule, rock, and abide with you from this moment forward. Let us all sing together. Awesome. Till I talk to you again, this has been Rev Jeff representing the entire Infinity family, reminding you that when you get information and take it in, it becomes knowledge. But when you take that knowledge and put it into action, that's when it becomes wisdom. So y'all be wise. Peace. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it either.